stressing like a motherfucker. I just really want something to go away. I don't even know what to say. I've been busy all.
What's poppin', y'all? Finally gonna have this conversation surrounding Drake's most recent album, Honestly Nevermind. We'll talk about
which was fire.
Talk about the music actually for once in a while. I usually don't like doing this because it doesn't interest me as much. But in this case, I've seen so much nonsense in the past week that I have to address both. The initial first 24-hour projections for Drake's album was anywhere from 210 to 235K first week. This was a surprise drop. He dropped it the night of.
Look, I ain't gonna lie though. For him to do 200, that's low for Drake for a surprise. He dropped the surprise album before, and it sold more. You know what I'm saying? But it was still, it was a good album to me. But let's see what Hello Yasin gotta say.
This is the excuse a lot of people use. But if we're going to be fair, if you're reading this, it's too late. Dropped that same night too, and ended up selling about 500.
Exactly.
500 something.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to like 495K first week. I don't think that's too much of a difference. Although there were physical sales back then, they were more prominent. We got to be a little bit fair. But hey, if someone's shooting himself in the foot, that's their fault. I don't think if he had promoted this a lot more. Actually, let me be fair. If he had promoted this a lot more, it would have done higher numbers.
Most definitely.
But I don't think it changes the fact that we have to go and talk about the reception. And people were saying that after the first couple of days, well, this album started to grow on people. They just had to listen to it a couple of more times. Yet, when you look at the midweek projections, it was 210K first week. And I sent out a tweet and I said, Twitter wants me to believe everyone is changing their mind and loves this album. If that's the case, then why are the projections lower? That's the question I got. If an album is getting listened to more and getting spread more, and people are enjoying it more than they did initially on the first day, then the projection should be going up, should they not? We can't even argue that, of course. And then I proceeded to say, I don't want to hear a single excuse about Drake's sales because of him switching quote unquote genres. Kanye made a gospel album, which is way harder to sell than a dance album, and still going to clear Drake's sales first week. This is in reference to Jesus is King.
That's true.
Number one, gospel is the hardest sell.
Yeah.
Number two,
sadly,
people were saying that he categorized it under hip hop / rap. I don't see that as having any difference at all. People are going to listen to the album. They're going to say, oh, this is not rap. I'm not listening anymore. So people have to enjoy it to continue streaming. It doesn't matter what label you put on it. I don't think that has any effect whatsoever, unless we're talking playlisting. And even then, I think it's a cope. I think it's a reach to come for that specifically. People are going to say physical sales. I'll give you that much. Physical sales are something we should take into account. But keep in mind, this is Drake here. Drake should be clearing numbers out of the water. And whose fault is it that Drake decided to drop this the day up? Nobody's fault other than Drake. And I think it would have been better had Drake primed the audience to expect dance music from him and then drop it, because then people's ears are going to be attuned to hearing something. I'm not even going to call it new, because what Drake did on this was not really new compared to Drake. It was just a deeper dive into things that he's already tapped into, whether it be songs like Passion Fruit, for example, which this album is kind of Passion Fruit. You throw it into this album, it would fit in. A lot of more, some songs in More Life kind of reminiscent of this album. But I'm going to get into my opinions. I thought this album was not good. I wouldn't say it was terrible. First listen,
it was good, bro.
It was good. It was good. Second listen,
you just don't understand it.
A couple of joints on here that I mess with. Text Go Green, I really enjoyed that song. Currents, I cannot stand that song. Falling Back, song is terrible.
No, it's not.
Of course, Jimmy Cooks, that's really the rap song. I mess with that one heavy. There are a couple of other tracks that escaped me off the top of my head that I thought were pretty good. But overall, this album is, I wouldn't even say disappointment because I didn't have expectations, but I would say it's not good. The one thing that got me, though, is how hard people were trying to stand and cover for Drake on this.
Because it's hard, bro. You hate it.
Drake's mid music or not good music because he's had so much good output. And this is fair. Someone's giving you consistently good music year after year after year. You're more willing to say, damn, there's no way he just dropped this dust bit. Absolutely no way. I got to listen again. There's got to be something wrong with me. And I've experienced this with other artists where I was like, yeah, there's no way this album is that bad. This artist is incredible. How could they drop something like this? It's happening.
Hey, what's going on? 2500 mysteries.
Welcome back to my channel. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. This man is hating on Drake. Y'all already know how I feel, you know, but we just gonna listen to what he got to say. I appreciate y'all for watching. Hopefully y'all having a nice day, nice night. Let's get to it.
It's happened to me before. So I know where Drake fans are at. But we got to be fair here, man. And the thing is, people are saying, oh, nah, y'all are judging this as a rap album. Y'all got to understand this is house music. Okay. How are you going to judge this as house music, especially for people that are primarily hip hop / rap listeners? If all you're listening to is hip hop / rap for the most part, maybe some R&B, what frame of reference do you have to compare Drake and judge it as house music? You would have to dive into some house music for at least several house albums, which I don't even think this is really like an album-based genre. So you don't have much of a frame of reference to compare Drake's album to say to judge it as house music if you're primarily a hip hop / rap listener. And then one of the things that really got me was how people were trying to be patronizing about the enjoyment of this Drake album, saying, yo, this is, if you don't got a passport, if you don't be in other countries, if you don't be with the hoes, you're not gonna mess with this album. I'm just looking at it like, yo, garbage is garbage. It doesn't matter if it's wrapped up in a Louis Vuitton bag. It doesn't matter if it's wrapped up in the black bag that sanitation workers are picking up and tossing in the back of their truck. It doesn't matter what kind of bag you put on it, pink, green, what's emanating from it, that stench is still garbage. So it don't matter if you're in Greece, Mykonos, Greece. It doesn't matter if you're in Georgia, Tbilisi, Georgia, the one in Europe. It doesn't matter if you're in Albania, Melbourne, Australia, Gold Coast, Johannesburg, South Africa. Trash is still trash. I'm not saying this album was trash. I just said it was not good. I wouldn't throw it under the trash.
Correct us.
But not good is still not good. It don't matter where you're traveling to. However, maybe in these different countries, I will agree that this style of music is more popular, more, I wouldn't say accepted is the proper word, but it's more listened to as opposed to here. Here you would find electronic dance music, specifically like the really hyped up ones that you would see at Electric Daisy Carnival or Ultra, stuff like that. That's big in America too. Not so much charts wise on the Hot 100, but it is popular. So that's where I'll come at it from that angle. And this got me because Logic dropped an album recently called Vinyl Days. It's a 30-track album. A lot of people are saying it's good. I've only listened to half of it so far, so I can't give my full take on it. I'll probably put my full take on it in a separate video. But the half that I've listened to so far, it's good. It's a good album. But people won't even give Logic a chance because they just see him as Logic. Hey, man, Logic dropping a good album. Hey, get the hell out of here with that. I ain't listening to that. Logic's X, Y, and Z, whatever label they want to throw on. So how is it that Logic, who a lot of people are saying dropped a good album, there are tons of people that won't even listen just because he's Logic? Yet Drake drops an album that is not good, yet people are convincing themselves it's good because it's Drake. This is insanity. This is madness to another degree. And this is not something that people afforded Kendrick Lamar. This is not something people afforded, hell, can we say J. Cole? Nah, I would just say Kendrick Lamar in this specific scenario. And this type of music, people are calling this dance music. Look, the type of music Drake made on this album, who's dancing to it, what it sounds like to me is a thrice, not twice, a thrice divorced 42-year-old white woman in Nebraska dancing, shimmying, however she probably dances in her kitchen after she just got done watching some YouTube cooking tutorial, finding out how she's going to potentially keep the fourth man that she marries in her life. This is not something that I see people actually dancing to in real life. I absolutely do not. And one thing that people started doing for Drake is they start handing out participation trophies. This got me disgusted. They're saying, oh, nah, you got to give Drake some credit he went out and tried something new. People said Drake's been giving us the same thing. I don't care if he tries something new. That's like saying, hey, Steph Curry took a break to go play professional golf. If he's trash at golf, he's trash at golf. That's what Drake did. He went. And the thing is, we can't even give Drake a participation trophy because I don't feel like he dove further away from his music that would even warrant saying, damn, he really tried something experimental. And this is why I don't want to hear, this is the end of any conversation of Drake artistry versus Kanye West. It's over. Because we had already seen Drake kind of get exposed during the Kanye hits. They did, it wasn't a verses, it was just them performing, but we saw Kanye perform his biggest hits. And you just see the diversity in sound, truly experimental of Kanye's albums and his whole career. And you're just staring at it in awe with how many hits he's made of completely different sounds. Drake doesn't have that. I mean, Jesus sounds nothing like Jesus is King, sounds nothing like, Donda sounds somewhat in the realm of Jesus King, but sounds nothing like College Dropout, sounds nothing like 808s. And all of these have hits. Drake didn't even go far enough. A lot of these tracks, if they were thrown on another Drake album, you'd be like, okay. But if you threw On Site on Graduation, people would be like, oh, what the hell is this? What? Yeah. This doesn't belong on here.
I agree.
Yet you throw On Site on Yeezus, and it becomes what a lot of people would say one of Kanye's best albums. We don't tolerate any Yeezus hate. If you hate the Yeezus album, you gotta keep
introducing Utah, a new gaming.
I don't care about what he's saying about Drake, but he is right about the Kanye situation, though. I do feel like Kanye definitely has more substance. He got more substance than Drake. His production is definitely amazing. But overall, Drake is still it, you know, because I can relate more. Me, myself personally, I can relate more to Drake. But I relate to Kanye as well. You know what I'm saying? But hello, y'all son sounded like a hater. That's all I'm going to say. All right.
You gotta keep it. I mean, you can voice your thoughts in the comments if you hate Yeezus album, but we don't tolerate that here. That's all I gotta say. I'm not gonna delete your comment or anything. I don't do that. But I love the Yeezus album. So he didn't even go far enough to explore for it to even be good. And I don't think he tapped in enough. And this is where I'm gonna give you guys my expectations or my thoughts when I heard Drake was going to make a dance album, which is just a couple of hours before. I expected something that's similar to a Calvin Harris-esque album from Drake, but we didn't get that. And I felt like Drake still was uncomfortable and had one foot in the usual style that he does and one foot out, which is kind of just dipping the toe in this dance genre or style of music. And I don't think it came out great. And one album that I'll give you guys that the conversation actually started, I think Fantano quote tweeted another tweet that said, this album, IDK's album, Simple, that he did with K Tronada, was better than Honestly Nevermind, which is Drake's dance album. And this is that I absolutely agree. Fantano agreed. If you haven't checked out this album, if you enjoyed this Drake album, then you have to listen to this album because it's better in every single way. And it's only 8 tracks. 8-track album. It's pretty much a dance album. It's categorized as a dance album since people care so much about the categorization now. And he just did everything better than Drake on this. The entire thing, the production, the slight rapping that you hear, the singing, all of it was done way better than anything that Drake did on Honestly Nevermind, except maybe Texas Go Green. I think that could hold a candle to what IDK did on Simple. And if you didn't enjoy this Drake album, I also think you should check out IDK's album Simple because, hey, why not? Maybe see something that's been done well. And the thing is, for me, if I hadn't heard IDK Simple prior to Drake's Honestly Nevermind, I may have thought that Honestly Nevermind was better or good due to me not having enough of a frame of reference. Like I listen to a bunch of different music, but still primarily I'm a hip hop / rap listener. If I'm listening to dance music, it's really not something that's out of the mainstream of the dance genre. That you guys are able to get where I'm coming from. Like I'll listen to, hell, names are completely escaping, but I won't dive deep like we do in hip hop. And I don't really think you can dive deep in multiple genres.
Yes,
There's not enough time in the day.
Yes, you.
But that album, I listened to it. I said, damn, this is a great album, IDK's album. Now I listened to it multiple times. I've been listening to it since it dropped. And then when Drake's album dropped, I was like, hold on, this is not good in comparison. And I think that's the closest frame of reference because IDK is actually a rapper. And you get to compare two people that are primarily rappers doing this other style of music, and one's just doing it and blowing the other out the park, the other being Drake. But I really just had to rein in my thoughts on that. Drake stands, like, come on. I mess with Drake's music.
You hate him.
But you gotta, at one point, you gotta say, you know what? This thing is not, this just isn't good. We'll just take this one out. It's not even really an L because it's just an album that wasn't good. And Drake's gonna keep it pushing. I don't know if Drake has the ability to experiment in the way that Kanye West does because Kanye West came from a production background. He was a producer. It's a completely different skill set.
Yeah.
And we can't even compare and say Drake is a better rapper than Kanye West because if you've been exposed for having ghostwriters for your rap songs, you're out of the conversation of top rappers. You're just
bro. Let me address this. He only had ghostwriters for about, I'll say like 2 projects for real. Take Care, and it was only a couple of songs. And thank you. Oh, if you're reading this, if you reading this, it's too late. But Drake biggest hits he wrote himself, bro. Y'all gotta stop with this narrative. Like y'all gotta stop with this using that against Drake. Second off, Drake wrote songs for Kanye. Kanye personally got him to write certain stuff for him. So we need to stop saying, you know, that Drake had writers. Third off, it's music. So whether he had writers or not, it's music. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a big deal. Now, of course, if you're trying to say like you're the best and all this extra stuff, it's better to write your own stuff fully. But people, it's not the point that people are. Well, it's not the point that Drake didn't use writers, or people keep saying he used writers. It's the point that people say Drake has writers as if the writers are writing his biggest hits and writing every single song. That's my issue. But let's continue.
done. So Drake's out of there. Kanye West, he's known for having writers, so I never consider Kanye in the top rapper categories or rankings. I just consider him as like a really great artist. One of my favorite artists, of course. I would say probably top 10. So artist, he definitely doesn't compare to Kanye West. And rapper, they both have writers, so we can't even compare them in that capacity. So Kanye overall is just better than Drake.
No.
Now, if you're talking about charts, yeah, it's another metric, but sure, we can give it to Drake on that one if you want to. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.
No, don't follow him. I'm sorry, bro. Like, no. Y'all follow me on Twitter and Instagram at LilScorpioKing, and I appreciate y'all for, saying, tuning in and stuff like that. Y'all have a nice day or a nice night.